Empower your workflow of Revit Family Type Creation and Management with Family Type Exporter Pro by BIModular. In this video, we're going to go over the new tool and how it solves many of the problems associated with the current method of Revit type catalog exports. So as an example, I have a parametric cabinet family in place here with nested components. We're going to go to our File, Process, File, Export, Type Catalog. And from here, we're just going to open up the location for the family, press Save, and done. So that's it. Now to investigate it, we go here and click this one, go to Notepad, and you'll see here we have every single element pushed out of the family, which is a tremendous amount of data. And unfortunately, most of this data we don't even need for a type catalog. So what are the problems? So you have too many parameters being pushed out. You don't have information associated to your nested types that are available. You don't have any control over the order of how you want these parameters to be loaded. So it becomes a very time-consuming process to go back in there and restructure all of your parameters in preparation of a clean type catalog to present to users to load into a project. So let's solve this problem. So first off, what I'm going to do here is minimize this down. We're going to launch Family Type Exporter Pro. It's now reading the file, getting all the information associated with the family. So in here, we now have a dashboard screen with the data grid. We have the name of the family. We have its category. If it's imperial metric, how many types currently exist. 104 parameters in place here. As we come across here, we can expand and contract this out. And let me show you here across here, what are we collecting? Number one, all of the parameters by default are loaded in alphabetical order. Number two, it also exposes all of the data behind that. So you've got the parameter type information. If I go ahead and look at a filter, you can see all the different conditions that are being read. Every column is filter controlled. So here's our types of measurements we have in the family. This is the grouping that it's underneath, the disciplines underneath. If it's an instance parameter, which means if it's instance, this should never be included in a type catalog. If it's read-only, doesn't need to be in there either. If it's reporting, it does not need to be in type catalog. So we can quickly see which ones we have are being read-only, instance, true or false, filter all those data around. Do we have also, does it use formulas? Formulas don't need to be in a type catalog. So we have in here the ability to see every single one of these formulas for auditing to make sure what we're collecting is nice and clean for the file. We also provide information. So every single one of these parameters comes with a particular definition associating what this parameter is about. If we go across here further, you're also going to see here is when it exports is the name on the type catalog of the header that's been being generated for Revit. Then the next one across here, we have also all the information about shared parameters. If there's a shared parameter, it will provide you the GUID so you can compare the data to make sure that this shared parameter matches what you have maybe in your shared parameter file. Here's your group information, all the type, if it's what type of built-in parameter it is, the element ID that you can search as well in the model, and then also true or false if it's valid. Valid in regard to false and true, that means is that this is a default parameter. If I go in there and sort this, scroll up here, you'll see here all of these are currently default parameters in the Revit family, but have never had any values assigned to them, which means if you ever try to add this information into a type catalog, load that into a project, you'll have a warning that these parameters, while they're in the family, actually do not exist. So there's no reason to export these on out unless you add a value in the family, save the family, then these will become no longer highlighted as a valid type of family. So now let's go ahead and do the very efficient process of exporting what we want and how we want. So number one, I'm going to go ahead and say I want to have all of my parameters done by my parameter. Let's do my group first. And then I want to go ahead and hold on my control key. I'm going to go ahead and sort this also by my parameter type. And last, I'll go ahead and sort this by my parameter name. We can control that in alphabetical or ascending or descending order. You can also group information. So if you want to quickly see how everything looks in regard to by groups, you can go ahead and break these on down as well. So I have this information. Let's go and look at my type parameters as well. Let's just drop that, and now I can do subgrouping. So I can quickly go ahead and analyze every single parameter, what group it's under, and across all of these conditions in the family. Now let's go ahead and close this on out here. And I want to do next thing is picking out my information. So I've got I want it by group. I want this one in descending order, and my name's in alphabet in ascending order. So now I've got my information the way I need. I also want to do is pick what's important to me. So maybe I want to show is my height and my width and my depth on my very first categories in place here. Everything else we need to pick out the defaults. So let's go ahead and just do select defaults. It's now going to read all the information here and pick all the other elements that are that also are required. So we have a total of only 19 other parameters that are necessary to be included in this whole project. So that's it. So now we have everything in order that we want. And let's go ahead and just press the type catalog export. Let's go and pick what we had beforehand. It's gonna ask replace, yes. Do you want to create a backup? Yes, we do. And now what we're doing is we're backing up the old type catalog with the date and timestamp. And now we've created a new type catalog. So go right here, you'll see here's the original one with the date and timestamp in place. And now what I'm gonna do is open up the new file. So right here, we go to edit. And now this is all we have in the order that we want it to be in. So I had my assembly code, I had my height, my width, and my depth. And then I had all the other components of the defaults also assigned here as well too. That is it. So much easier type catalog to manage compared to what we had beforehand, which was this file. Next thing here, we also want people to, how do we keep this information? So I can go ahead and say, okay, let's just do a select all, for instance. Sorry, let's do select all. And let's go ahead and export this to an Excel grid. So this is a grid to an Excel file. So I'm just putting here just mod closet data. And what's now doing is it's taking all this information and putting it into a file that you can now use for auditing in the future. So now the file's about to open. And here's your file. So here you have file name, here's the family, and here's every single one of these already done. All 104 actually parameters in whatever order you want to. So if you want to go ahead and sort those, look at all your header information, look at all your definitions about those, look at all of your schedules. Let's go ahead and set this up here by smallest to largest. So here's all of my formulas. So you can now quickly audit anything you need, share information back between teams. The next thing we have here is the ability to also export any kind of the nested family information in here. So if I go ahead and do nested type list, I can now go ahead and just select that. Let's just change this over here to nested families or any other language or usage you want to apply, and press save. Open that up, and now what's done is it's gone through the family and determine which ones have nested in here. So we can see here, these are all of the catalogs of elements in place. Here's all the families that are nested. And then of course in this one called pull finish, this one parameter, it's a casework parameter. And these are the associated categories that fall underneath casework are populated. So if you have 20 nested families in a project, you would have 20 columns with each one varying and with what information is being shown on a per parameter basis. So that is what covers the Family Type Exporter Pro. And I appreciate you watching this video.